Today we are going to talk about a brand which is very, very well known for its amazing, amazing craft beers. Its recent revenue in 2023 was record breaking. We are going to get to the numbers really soon. We are going to talk about BREWDOG.
Yeah, so basically, Prachi, BREWDOG is responsible for almost 6.6% of the all beer sold in the country. So
oh, wow.
I contribute quite a bit, I'm not going to lie. I do like BREWDOG. And that's one of the reasons why we chose this company, because we are familiar to it. And it's a company that's been growing consistently since the foundation in 2007. And it's come a bit controversial sometimes. We're not going to get into that side of the company today. We're here to talk about the marketing strategy and how they managed to become from a crafty beer to be pretty much tailoring how the crafty beer industry works in the UK.
You're goddamn right.
To all the people out there, welcome to another episode of Actionable Marketing, a podcast where we analyze a brand, a campaign, an advert. I am Prachi. I am a luxury consultant, and I have Andre here with me. He's a marketing strategy consultant. And yes, as you heard that right, today we're going to talk about BREWDOG. And as Andre introduced the brand, it's record breaking in terms of its, the craft beers. And Andre, in 2023, the full year revenue hits record breaking. Can you guess the amount?
No, I don't have no idea.
It's 320 million pounds.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? When you look that, for example, in 2022, they sold 55 million hectoliters of beer. I don't even know how to put that into numbers, but yeah, it seems a lot.
It's crazy. I think I recently visited Scotland, Andre, and couldn't have had the most strong brand recall of BREWDOG if not in Scotland. So I think for everyone to just have a gist of it, it was founded in 2007 by James Watt and Martin Dickey. And the story is so interesting that they just wanted to try something different with the lager and all the ales that were going on at that point. And they started with a huge bank loan, but I think they started with pouring the beers by their hand because they didn't have any help, etc., etc. One thing I want to target the most when it comes to their thing is their anti-business model. That's what they keep talking about in some way or the other, because one of the most amazing thing is equity for punks, and that's how they started growing. So this thing is where it's so interesting, Andre. Like, I've never heard about it. I've never heard such term as equity for punks, because what they do is they have been taking their branding into account, and to create that customer loyalty in everything, they have been wanting the customers to invest in their company. And without any doubt, they had like 1,300 people investing in their company.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? And they pretty much took the love, the passion for beers and for the company, and transformed them into investors. And you get some perks when you subscribe or when you invest in the company. When you have some shares, you get some discounts, and you have you might be invited to events. So there's more to it than just being investing, right?
Yes.
And like I said, it's a craft beer. They created the company looking for something new, something that didn't exist at the time. And that's pretty much what the target audience is. You know, you're talking about young adults, people that want more than just a beer. You know, they want to taste something different. They want a surprise taste. They want an experience. And of course, they want to try something new. And that's why BREWDOG has so many award-winning beers, you know, because they try different flavors, different tastes. And that's how people connect to the brand. Because I relate to that. I don't want to have don't get me wrong, I like lager, I like beer in general, but I want to try something new. And there's nothing better than go to a pub, or to a BREWDOG pub now, and they have a different brew, different beer there, you know, so you can try and taste and you have that wow factor that we as a marketeer always try to get our clients to have with their products or services, that wow factor. And and they diversify, they diversify the portfolio. One thing that is quite consistent on our podcast, which is partnerships, and BrewDog does that incredibly well. I was flying to Brazil, BA flight, and on the dinner service, they offered drinks as they do, and I said, "Oh, have you got a beer?" I said, "Yeah, I've got BrewDog." I said, "Oh, wow!" And I was expecting the Punk IPA, which is the core, the main beer, but no, there was a BA partnership called Speedbird, and they were serving on the fly. I was like, "Oh God!" So I think those kind of things. You take your product, you place your product in a place where I got so surprised, and I said, "Hey, yeah, that's really fantastic because I'm having a beer that I like in the flight." And they done other ones as well. They've done a partnership with Aldi, the supermarket. They've done one to celebrate Oktoberfest, and it's just one of those beers that you have to try. You go out of your place to try it. So
agreed.
And if you like craft beer, you have to try BrewDog. And it's such a strong brand in the UK. Like I said, BrewDog has a market share of almost 6.6% of the total beer sales in the UK, and that's huge. That's huge.
Amazing. I think they recently even reported that than I think 180% more people have bought beer in 2023, and it's 180% more than in 2022. So I think that's a huge number when we talk about their different quality of alcohol or the styles of alcohol. I think it boils down to their branding, which is, I think, extremely fearless, feisty.
Bold.
It's extremely bold. And for beer to have such a branding was a very new thing for me, because I think that's where we have already covered a theory. It's extremely a mere exposure. It's called the mere exposure theory, which in the layman language we called as an extremely strong brand recall. Mm-hmm. So they connect with people who have who are bold in terms of their personality, and even if we speak of their logo, it's a black and white image of a Scottish terrier.
Yeah.
A breed which is known for its feistiness and independent spirit. But in 2020, they rebranded and the shield was removed, allowing the dog to stand alone. Mm-hmm. So I think this signifies a more confident and assertive of that independent spirit that they're talking about, reflecting in everything, their website, their social media, and the tongue-in-cheek humor like never seen before.
And the overall online sentiment is extra positive for them. People praise them for being unique, for being bold. There was a backlash, kind of court cases and things with the employees, but in general, it's a bold brand. And the way they portray themselves, the tone is consistent throughout. The tone is the same if you buy a pack of beer in the supermarket or if you go to their pub. I recently went to the Waterloo BrewDog pub, which is really interesting. It is massive. I think it's the biggest pub I've seen in my life. And they have a bowling alley, and I went there to watch the games for the football game with a friend. But it's just, the whole experience is nice. It's unique. It is unique. And the beer selection is unique. The staff is well trained. It's a young crowd. It's a nice kind of environment. You feel welcome to their pubs. And funnily enough, next door is opening a Wetherspoons soon. So let's see how that's going to work. Because obviously there's a price. BrewDog, it's a little bit higher on the price tag. If you compare to some craft beers and with lagers, of course. It's IPAs and craft beers tend to be a bit more higher up on the price tag.
Yes. Do you think, Andre, I can relate that, because when we used to study luxury, there was this concept of the higher the price, the more the trust. So it was kind of a perception that if the price of a certain thing is higher, then it has to be higher for a reason. maybe it's more exclusive, maybe it's more different. So I think in this case, when they say that the price is higher, it has to be because of their different flavors, the uniqueness of how they make a beer. I think different styles of their, flavors of beer, I think, etc., etc., etc. So that's why I think.
Yeah. And when you see the crowd, the customer base, you can see why they plan the brand and they put themselves out there like that. When you have a high price tag, that comes with a perceived quality. You're paying premium, so you'd expect premium taste.
Exactly.
If you pay £2 for a pint, you would not expect to be surprised. Well, wow, there's a really good taste. If you are, good for you. But when you pay, pints in London now are ranging from £6.50 if you're lucky to £8. That's the price bracket. And when you pay £7.50 for a pint, you expect that pint to be good. You expect that glass to be clean. So it's not just about the product, the beer, the liquid. It's everything. You expect to sit in a pub where it's clean, or like I said, the glass is clean. The service is nice. So there is a lot of extra factors that comes in that price tag, not just the product, the end product.
The overall experience, if we may say, I think. Yes, I think we saw that in Scotland, and the aesthetics of the pub. I would even like to talk about that for a moment. It cannot have more Englandy vibe, if I may. Especially, I think if I have never been to a BrewDog pub in London, but we went to Scotland. So it's so different, and you continuously feel that they also have upscale and they try and upscale the product with a lot of things. They create an experience, as you said, and yes, even one beer there has it all. So I'm ready to pay that higher price because I got that in fun.
Of course, yes. And a little bit of a spoiler here. We're gonna have another episode about Wetherspoons. So it's really interesting to say this kind of experience about BrewDog because you're paying a higher price, so you expect a better service. When you go to a Wetherspoon pub, your expectations are much lower.
Yes.
Much lower than that. Even though sometimes the price are not, but your expectations are. So it is great to see BrewDog keeping the expectation up, not just up in the price, but up on the delivery too. I don't know if you went to a BrewDog pub or a pub branded by BrewDog, because they have their own pubs in London, but they also brand other pubs, smaller local pubs, as a BrewDog, kind of a chain. And the experience is the same. It is incredible.
Yeah, I think that's where you can relate it. And as you said, it sticks in terms of not just pricing, but in terms of everything. And there was an article where the founders kept their thoughts even about tree plantation and their interest towards the tree plantation. So, as you dig deeper, you start understanding that they believe a lot in environmental friendly, eco-conscious, and all of these terms, and they have been acting upon it. I never knew that they had a project called Lost Forest, and they were building towards it. Their goal is to plant. Their goal is tree plantation. I think peatland restoration, where they save the carbon dioxide. I think with the peatland restoration, if I'm not wrong, and it's commendable because I've never seen that. The different thing for me was I've never seen that in a beer brand. You generally expect that out of a skincare brand or a beauty brand, or rather every brand right now is going towards the sustainability factor. But when I saw a brand like BrewDog, believing in sustainability, that was very new. Yeah, no, it is fantastic. And when you do like we do, what the strengths are, obviously that is a massive strength for the brand, for the company. You have, of course, the product, the diversification, the brand recognition, and the loyal customer base. But as we know, you can't only rely on those things. You have to spread out your kind of strategies. And CSR, it's one way to get your brand out there. Exactly. So I think these few, that is why it's called, I think, anti-business model, because it's not doing anything as per a regular marketing, regular marketing, which we see it every now and then. So I think this is what the marketers can learn, because they are not afraid to speak out who they are. I agree that sometimes it has led to controversies. We won't go into that factor, but this was interesting, Andre, when I was reading about the controversy part. Yeah. So it was interesting, Andre, when I was reading that part, I came across this theory called pratfall effect. And it's very interesting when they say that if a brand is doing something wrong, the customers are more like, even if it makes a minor mistake, for example, some controversy, it has led to some controversy, but there is a huge chunk of consumer or audience, as we say, that gets connected to the brand more with this. So it's called the pratfall effect, and which is very new. So when we talk about their bold identity, or their tongue-in-cheek humor, or their strong presence across their social media, their website, their, I think, on-site presentation of everything, we keep thinking about that controversy, but they say that we do this to connect to that human mind. Because if they say that I'm making a mistake, the brand is saying that I'm making a mistake, and the consumer feels that, okay, everyone makes a mistake. We are humans. And so, so is the brand nowadays. It's the next human. So that is all it's connecting. And I have never heard of such a theory where you make a minor mistake and you feel connected more because of that minor mistake.
Yeah, no, it is great. And for the market, for the industry, BrewDog is such an important player now, because it is an entrance door for the craft beer world. It was the first craft beer I ever had. When I remember when I moved to the UK 8 years ago, and I went to Cannabis Street, to a pub with a friend, and the first craft beer I had was a punk IPA. I've been having craft beer since, and different brands, not just BrewDog, but for me it was the entrance door to a craft beer world. And that the other players, the smaller breweries, the smaller companies, they benefit from that. They have to see the benefit from having such a strong player and someone that kind of opens the door. Because when you go to a supermarket, you have BrewDog, you have Siren, you have all these other craft beer companies, and you might prefer one, but that will push you to try different. And I think it's such an important thing to have. Is your competitor? Yes. They have to acknowledge the benefit of having someone like BrewDog on the same display as your brand.
Agreed. I think with everything, even with their recent technological advancements, staying updated with the omni-channel approach, because you don't see a difference in their online and offline thing, and it just syncs their offline and online thing. Yeah. So I think that's where they come across strong as well. You see their website, and you again see the innovation, the identities, the feistiness of identity. Whenever someone says BrewDog, I think I relate that to feisty. Yeah, and
I see BrewDog going towards the same direction as Red Bull. The energy drink, kind of taking the company, putting it in a completely different environment, like experiences. When you talk about Red Bull, you imagine people jumping from a plane, landing on a building, that kind of crazy thing that Red Bull does. I think BrewDog, it will eventually go to that side of marketing, of creating uniqueness, creating experiences, not just with the product, but with the brand, relating to your customer in a way.
Right. So, Andre, as we talk about, we're talking about where can BrewDog be in the upcoming years. So we talked about their a part of their controversy. So as a marketer, what do you feel that you can recommend them so that they are better for sure, but they can be the best version of themselves?
So like I said, I see BrewDog having more presence in a experience marketing world, running their own drone competitions, or that kind of new thing, fresh, that young adults will follow, because we're still talking about 18 to 25 years old. So those kids now, technology is their world, everything AI, everything is part of their upbringing. We are from a different generation. We had to learn to use the internet. These kids, they are on the internet since day one. And I'll still say collaboration for them and enhance the gaming experience. We've seen companies doing that. When you play video games, like I do, you see, like playing football, for example, you see brands on the pitch. We're talking about beer. So it is a little bit more niche, obviously. You have to be careful. I don't know the legislation around kind of alcohol adverts on games, but I think it could do kind of that enhanced experience. Collaborations with companies that relate to the same audience, like PlayStation, video game companies, things that I can do and I can still have my beer. I definitely would buy a PlayStation beer to have while I'm playing. And I scan a code, and then that game gets, I don't know, an extra skin or an extra paint job for my car or something like that. Just take the great experience that I already have with the beer on my hand, but transform that into a virtual game, into a different experience digitally.
Amazing. I think game and beer can never go wrong.
And football.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Like yesterday's match, as we speak of. So amazing. I think one of their opportunities, I really feel that they have to expand to India, because India is a market where it can grow really good. And when we talk about this, especially this pricing or collaborating with a game or PlayStation or football for that matter, in India it is popular. If not football, then it could be cricket. So that those slight changes with the cultural thing, taking culture into account, but at the same time, like you are in Goa and you have like this huge game parlor of PlayStation, which I also love playing. But having a BrewDog on the side can just elevate it to another level, and people won't be afraid to pay that price, because they will know that the quality is higher, or the experience overall in terms of everything is going to be crazy. So I think here we have already done the Veblen effect, where people do perceive that if the price is high, the quality is high, and the overall brand is great.
And we're going to keep drinking BrewDog.
Yes, we're going to keep drinking BrewDog. Yes. So, Andre, do we want to talk about their more strengths and weaknesses as we speak?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, the loyal customer base, it's a big strength. The CSR strategy, another one. The diversified product portfolio, again, you can go and try so many different beers in a BrewDog pub, which goes beyond beer. I've tried their rum the other day. I bought this rum, which was passion fruit and coconut flavored rum. Different.
Wow.
The bottle's finished, so I think it was good. So when you talk about diversified product portfolio, it's not just the beer. Even though the beer range is incredible, and they always bring different ones or special ones, but they also have gin and other spirits there. So that's, again, just expanding to different segments. I would say weaknesses, they are growing very fast. And you have to be careful with that. You have to have all the process, all the plan, and the training and the team. Otherwise, you lose that 360 experience that you have online that translates to the shop, to translate to the pub. So that could be a weakness for them, for sure.
Got it.
And of course, the controversies that we talked about, we didn't specifically talk about them, but we pointed out.
Yes.
That is a concern, obviously. If you're treating your staff unfairly, that has to be addressed. That has to be changed, because at the end of the day, you need the team to back you up. You need the team to work happy, pay fairly. You don't want to have a toxic environment. And the high price point, because that would determine if I buy a BrewDog or not. if I'm going to try a craft beer, if you're not a loyal customer yet, that might affect the purchase decision. I might decide to go for cheaper beer, which is still going to be good or not. But the high price point could be something that could change the decision.
Right.
So what do you think? Do you have anything to add? Do you want to give me some opportunities and threats?
Yes, I think opportunities for them, I still feel that they can expand other than they have started, I think, more in Europe now. But they can go to markets because there are markets who can accept their higher price point with experiential marketing at a good rate. For example, if only in the UK the percentage of customers is 180 higher than the previous year, then if they have expansion in other markets, that could be much more, and that could be at a much higher scale, still maintaining their brand identity. I think talk about sustainability a bit more. That could be their opportunity as well, to put forth sustainability in a way that people know that BrewDog is doing this, or that is one opportunity for them to create their USP is much more. But if they add USP, that can have a different impact on the brand, and that can maybe cover up the controversy in a way that we are doing something different for the planet. I think when we talk about weakness of their controversy, that can also be a threat. Sometimes not being transparent can also be a threat. So I think not being transparent is one of the threat of BrewDog. The FDA guidelines and everything for especially for the beer market keeps changing. It's extremely dynamic. So there could be changes in the way the process is done. Sometimes the restriction on the number of flavors that you can do, or the content usage, or alcohol content usage that you're doing, or putting up in a beer. Even though it's a different beer, it's a craft beer as we speak of. So the more importance or the more significance is given on the ingredients. So sometimes the threat comes across if you have a shortage of those ingredients, or the logistics, or the economic downturn, or the change of FDA guidelines. So I think these are some of the threats that I have in mind.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I think, but as marketers, we do feel that please don't be afraid of putting your brand in a bold and feisty way, because it does get connected. It does go to people who speak the same language, who speak the same tone. So when we say that marketing with a bite, it's actually true in its own sense, because you do relate to that. And speaking of me and Andre, I don't think we are going to stop drinking BrewDog. But I'm moving to India soon, and BrewDog, I request you to please get to India so I can have one of your beers there as well.
When I go visit you there, Prachi, I'll take some with me on my bag.
Yes, please.
It might just be the empty cans, but I'll try to keep one.
Fair enough, even if it's just a can.
Awesome.
Nice.
I think we reached the end of this episode. Thank you very much for listening or watching. Do send us questions or recommendations or brands or adverts you want us to analyze. And see you soon. Thank you.
See you soon. Thank you.